A terrifying evil is about to be unleashed. Today we're going to be looking at 1995's Night of the Scarecrow.
Can't stop his power.
So this is the actual original VHS. The reason why I say original because this is the promo VHS before the actual real VHS was released to the market. Now, this is actually a pretty obscure film, at least for the promo version. If you can see on the bottom, let's focus on the bottom here. The bottom says the pre-order date is December 28th, 1995, and the street date is January 16th, 1996. Not for resale or rental, for promotional use only. Now, what that means is back in the time when we still had Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and local mom and pop rental shops, they would get these videos in the store sent to them by the movie company in order to have them carry it in the store. The thing that's really awesome about these is not a lot of them were produced, and at the same time a lot of them did not make it through the 90s and the 80s. So promotional videos are hard to come by at times, especially for horror films such as this one. Night of the Scarecrow is already a obscure movie in itself. But if you take a look at the artwork for this, this is the actual VHS that I prefer over the one that came out for the actual VHS release, because the artwork was changed. As you can see, it looks way more scary if I were to see this in a rental store than what the actual VHS cover artwork ended up looking like. Look at the sides here, just Night of the Scarecrow. I like the purple for some reason, it just looks cool. It reminds me of Tales from the Crypt. And on the back we have the tagline, "Terror has come home to harvest." Now, some of these things on here for the promotional use are pretty hysterical, especially the very first opening sales pitch right here. Let's focus. Introducing horror's newest goremeister, uglier than Pumpkinhead, meaner than Jason, and scarier than Freddy. So, for me, I find that freaking hilarious that they actually were trying to sell this to the store owner by saying that this right here, this B, well, I mean, I'm just being kind here, B movie horror monster is gonna be scarier, uglier, and just meaner overall than legends of horror such as Pumpkinhead, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees. Now, they may say that just because the guy that did the makeup effects and the creation of Freddy Krueger is the same guy that did the makeup effects and creation for the Scarecrow. Now, I'm not going to do an overall movie review for the Night of the Scarecrow. I'll do that in a separate video. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the post notification button to follow me on YouTube, and make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below to tell me what you want to see in the future of this channel, such as video reviews, movie reviews, and the next VHS horror film that you might want to see me take a look at. Now, let's look at the artwork on the back. This doesn't look very scary. I'm just going to say that right now. So you can't say that's going to be scarier or uglier than Jason. It's just a Scarecrow. But the thing that is kind of cool is the screenshot that they chose for one of the kills is not even that bad. And this, if you haven't seen the movie, you wouldn't even know what that is. But that's supposed to be the Scarecrow walking through the fire in the end of the film. Let's see what this back says here. When a monstrous evil living out in the cornfield comes out, the terror begins. He's unspeakable, unstoppable, and hell-bent on revenge. When the demon reaps his grisly harvest, don't bother to scream. There's no one left to save you in the Night of the Scarecrow. A journey from the bowels of hell to the backwoods of horror. No, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it through that without laughing, just because I did watch the entire film before making this video. And I have to say, Night of the Scarecrow is not a good movie. It's not terrible, but it's pretty bad to where it's like good bad. It's on the level pretty much of, one of the later on versions of Jason Voorhees movie, Friday the 13th film, or a very later version of Nightmare on Elm Street. Just very cheesy, very, very bad acting. And the coolest thing about it was the powers that the Scarecrow had when he actually used his real powers. I mean, there's points where he's just killing people with random, farming tools and equipment, which I would expect out of someone like Jason or something like that. But this guy actually has powers that he can use, like his straw are as strong and as sharp as needles. And there's that one kill in this movie that sticks out in particular where he takes his glove off of his hand and blows the straw off of himself into a guy's face, and it's just a bunch of needles sticking out of the guy's body. It's actually really cool. Now, the one thing I will say is Night of the Scarecrow does have great kill scenes and great special effects. Well, practical effects, I guess they would be at this time. Let's look at the actual VHS now. As you can see, Night of the Scarecrow promo copy. It says it really big. Now, the thing is that they wanted to drive home that this was a promo copy of this film. They did not want this film getting out early to anybody. And it's apparent when you actually put in the film and start watching it. There is a giant ad at the very beginning as a promotional pitch to have this film in there, which includes a segment from behind the scenes with interviews of the actors, a bunch of different trailers for movies that are coming out, which include Malicious, which is a movie like Swim Fan, Automatic, which is a RoboCop knockoff, Witchboard, The Possession, which we all know Witchboard is a pretty famous horror film as far as B-movies. A huge Rent-A-Kid selling promo. Rent-A-Kid is some sort of family movie where people get to rent a kid. And it was really weird for me watching this, that this was in this film where it's a horror film with gore and killing, and all the other commercials have sex, gore, and killing, and yet there's this giant promotion for Rent-A-Kid, which doesn't make sense. A commercial for The Courtyard, which is basically like a Basic Instinct, and then a Night of the Scarecrow trailer. Now, they want to be very specific that this film is not for anyone else to see except for the store owner, because as you play the film, it says property of Republic Films, or Republic Pictures, and it keeps popping up like every 15 minutes of the film. So you'll see this very annoying line at the bottom every 15 minutes. Another cool thing here is you can see on the back that they have all of the different street dates for the different versions of this film, the VHS pre-pack and the Laserdisc. It's actually really weird that this came out on Laserdisc. Scare up some savings with special pre-pack offer. Buy two and save. Order pre-pack VHS 6143. Offers while supplies last. I'm pretty sure the supplies never ran out. The one thing I think is really cool, and I wish they I could find these online is the posters that came with ordering these films to hang up in the store. Now, as this movie isn't very good, like I said though, the poster art for this is really, really awesome. I mean, the Scarecrow in the film really wasn't that scary, but this poster art is pretty awesome to me. I think it's pretty badass. Why they changed it for the actual real VHS release, I don't know, because as you can see with the picture I'm posting right now with it, it wasn't very scary looking compared to this one. Night of the Scarecrow has seen a DVD and Blu-ray release, surprisingly, and you can find Night of the Scarecrow very easily online on eBay. It'll roughly average you this version of the VHS probably, I think it's like $10 to $15, and the 1996 version, the actual store versions for customers to buy, is probably cheaper than that. Now, this film, like I said, isn't very good, but it's still kind of a classic B horror monster movie. I suggest you guys watching it if you like cheesy acting but very cool practical effects, and it's worth a watch. That's all I can really say about it. It's worth the watch. It's comical at some points, and like I said, the killing parts with the practical effects that the Scarecrow uses on people when he actually uses his real powers is actually really cool. My favorite kill of the entire film is he puts this piece of straw on this guy's arm, and it spawns out a bunch of different vines and stuff to grow out of this guy's body.
And then all this straw starts bursting out of his mouth and his eyes and his ears and coming out,
including his eyes, and it's just really cool looking. So yeah, definitely a pickup for the horror VHS collector, and definitely at least a rental for somebody that wants to see these kind of cheesy horror films that may have came out in the 90s. This is Forrest of VHS or Die, and remember, be kind, rewind.